If your real estate business is set up as an LLC or a corporation, then I've got the scoop for you on this new federal law that requires reporting with the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. Financial crimes? So there's this new federal law that went into effect on January 1st that requires virtually every business in the real estate industry, if it's formed as an LLC or a corporation, to do this special report with FinCEN, or the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. Now, before we get into what that report requires and when you have to report, why do we even have to do this? The simple answer is crime. There's a lot of crime that happens with money laundering and other financial crimes that's sort of laundered through small LLCs and corporations. And so we're actually playing catch up in the United States with a number of other developed countries that requires this special reporting of who the owners are and key decision makers in these small LLC and corporate businesses. Okay, so we've got this new reporting requirement. What exactly do we have to report? Well, the first thing we have to report is information about the business. And again, we're primarily talking about LLCs and corporations. And you're going to have to report certain information like the name of the business, its address, the tax ID number, and any DBAs or trade names that you might be operating under. Next, you have to report what's referred to as beneficial owner information, which is generally going to be people who own 25% or more of the business. And you're going to have to report things like their name, their address, certain other contact information, as well as an identification number like your driver's license or a passport number. And you have to give them a copy of that identification as well. It goes beyond just the people who actually own the entity though, and it includes people who have substantial control. Now, these are gonna be like senior officers, people who have financial control over the entity, and key decision makers. These are all pretty broad categories, but these are going to be people like in the real estate industry. If maybe you have a managing broker who doesn't actually own the company, you're going to have to report that person as well, along with their ID and a photocopy of it and all that kind of stuff that goes along with it. So we know you have to do a report. We have an idea of what goes into it, but when do I actually have to file this report? Well, if your business was formed in 2023 or earlier, then you have to do this report before the end of the year, this year, 2024. Now, if the entity is formed this year in 2024, you have to do a report on this entity within 90 days. And next year, starting in 2025, if you do a new entity, it's got to be done within 30 days. So it's going to be a quick turnaround. But it goes beyond just that initial report, because if there's a change to any of the information, say you register a new DBA for the entity, or the address changes, or even the people you report, the beneficial owners, if you have a change and get a new driver's license, or you move, or your senior officers do, you have to do an amended report within 30 days. So it's a quick turnaround to do any amendments if something changes on a report you've already done. So you might be saying to yourself at this point that this sounds absolutely absurd and you can't believe that they enacted this requirement. And you now want to know, well, what happens if I don't want to do it? Well, there's certainly a cost to not doing it, and the penalties start at $500 per day up to a maximum of $10,000. Now, I don't know about you, but I'd prefer to keep that $10K in my pocket. But beyond that, it also carries penalties of up to 2 years in jail, and that doesn't sound like very much fun and would certainly get in the way of you carrying on your business. So I do suggest going ahead and doing the report. Okay, fine. I don't want to go to jail. I'll do the report. So how do I do it? Well, I'm going to give you two options that you can consider. The first one, if you think you're comfortable doing it on your own, then you can go to fincen.gov/BOI and report through the federal government reporting system at FinCEN. Now, it's a federal government reporting system, so it may be a little bit clunky. It may not be all that user-friendly, but you're welcome to check that out yourself if you feel comfortable doing it on your own. Your second option, if perhaps you're a little bit confused or you want some help with it, maybe it's a little bit more complicated in your situation and you have some questions, or you'd really just like somebody to help you do it for you. Well, we have that option for you. You can go to our law firm partner, GDL Legal PLLC. The link in the description will be there for you to go directly to their page on FinCEN beneficial owner reporting. And you can contact that law firm at a very affordable rate compared to a lot of others out there that will help you do that reporting and give you that oversight and hold your hand through it if that's something that you would like done. So check that out at the link in the description, GDL Legal PLLC. So the bottom line is that the reporting requirement exists, and I highly recommend you take care of it as soon as possible. Don't be the person who forgets and waits around until December 30th and you're trying to take care of it at the end of the year. That's gonna be a mess. So go ahead and hit the like button and the subscribe button if you're gonna commit to taking care of this as soon as possible. If you want a little bit more information, we've got a link down in the description for more information from our Pro Academy at a special page on our website that we've set up outlining these reporting requirements. So you can reference that if you need to. Otherwise, let's get this knocked out and take care as soon as possible and stay in compliance with the Corporate Transparency Act.